Welcome back to the Cosmic Mistress podcast. My name's Amanda, and today we have Adria Such, one of my good friends that I've known since high school. So
forever.
I tracked it the other day. It's 20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
That is wild.
Yeah, since soccer, regional soccer.
And volleyball.
And volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then college, and now here in Boulder. So Adria is a fitness instructor, a realtor. Anything else you want to share?
A dog mom.
And a kitty mom.
And a kitty mom. Can't forget about the kitty. I'm just a gal that likes to do all the things. I like to keep myself busy, but I've been in Boulder for 13 years and definitely fitness has been a huge part of that journey for sure.
And nature.
In nature.
All your pics are so
in concerts
pretty.
And all the, normal
you're
Colorado
the
things.
yes fun girl.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
So today we're going to talk about sobriety. We might talk a little bit about dating, about real estate, fitness.
All the things.
Yeah. Let's start with, so you and I, like in college and then even after college, seeing each other at live music, having like the same kind of friend group, a lot of partying.
Oh yeah.
a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, and a lot of really fun times. I'm curious for you, because I also don't drink, but I want to hear about your into sobriety. What was the turning point? Like, when did you know, like, shit, I really need to change something?
I mean, I think I knew for a long time that something needed to change, but I think that's where it starts to feel like this like internal battle of like, what am I doing? And then you continue to do the same things and you're like, why is nothing feeling better? Why is this like continually just like getting darker a little bit?
Yeah.
I think for me, the moment was I actually like remember it very clearly. The exact moment I was at my girlfriend's house. We were having a glass of wine. A glass of wine turned into a bottle of wine. Of course. And I'm not proud of this, but I then drove home that night. And I remember I got home and I was just like, what am I doing? Like, why do, it was like a 5-minute drive. So I was like, whatever, it's fine. I know the route. Like, I'll take the back way. And it just like was a moment where I was just like, this isn't okay anymore.
Yeah.
I slept so horribly that night and I was like tossing and turning and I was hot and I was thirsty. And I just like woke up the next day and was so anxious.
Yeah.
And that was a pattern for me. It was just like that anxiety post drinking. And I had just a moment when I woke up that day and I was like, I want to take a break. I need to take a break. This just like does not feel like it's working in my system anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, hangovers, I'm in my 30s now, drag out to like 4+ days where I was just like, this is like 4 days of my life where I'm anxious, I'm tired. I feel like I just like don't know how to like do my life in a way that feels like I'm showing up as like a good version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like surviving.
Yeah.
And so that day, the next day I was like, I'm going to do a month. Let's see how a month goes. After a month, I was like, I don't really feel that different. I was actually like didn't feel much better. I was kind of like more anxious. Like there was a lot of anxiety around like going into social situations.
Yeah, that's oftentimes like right after you stop. That's when all the stuff finally comes up.
Yeah, and I don't think people like talk about that enough. Like, I mean, the first 6 months were really hard, but I got past that 1 month mark and I was like, let's go to 6 months. And then I got to that 6 month mark and I was like, let's do a year. And then once I got to that year mark, I was like, why do I like not really feel that different? Like maybe I need to keep doing this. And, once I got to that year mark, I was just kind of like, okay, let's just like, I feel good in terms of like, I'm sleeping much better. I feel less anxious. But I think what I really struggled with was like, you have to like sit with your emotions. Like there's nowhere to like run or hide anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like once something comes to the surface, you have to like be like, okay, let's look at this and like think about what this is like asking of me
right
now in this moment.
Totally. It's like stopping drinking creates the space for it, but then you still have to actually be proactive with being with whatever comes up.
Yeah.
So it's very like self-led. Like you didn't hit like rock bottom. Like you didn't have a falling out with like a relationship. Like nothing like truly terrible happened for you to become sober, which is great because for a lot of people that's
and I do feel really grateful that, you know, because I know a lot of people that struggle with addiction, you know, there's a lot of paths now that you can take where there's a lot of support.
Totally.
And I kind of did it in the self-led category.
Capricorn way. Yeah.
In the very Capricorn way of just like, I'm going to do this and let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do think when I look back at it, I'm like, it could have been helpful to like build a community from this because like community at the end of the day, even with drinking, was like part of the reason that I did it was because, you know, it like brings you together with this community of people. Mm-hmm. But I think that it would just like, it started to feel kind of lonely, but you know, I had
when you were sober, like,
when I first like got sober, I was like, you know, maybe I should like lean into like a program or something. But, you know, I was never like a raging alcoholic. I was like a functional alcoholic. Like a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, I would party, I would stay up really late and then I would feel like shit for the next couple days, but I would still get my stuff done. You know, I would like be hungover, like leading a handstand workshop. Like it was like, you know, it just felt out of balance too, I think internally, which was another like tipping point for me where I was like, what am I doing? Like none of this aligns. Like this doesn't feel right. Yeah.
I remember that too of like, as I got closer and closer to like really needing to stop, and I think it's really common too, it's like every time you do, you have like every time you do drink, you have that internal struggle. And so you do have like the guilt and the shame and the remorse. And so I think like, and obviously too, like physically the anxiety you experience when you're older too is so much more intense, but it's such a good sign of like, there's something that's not like in balance here within me with this choice. And I mean, you can relate that to everything. But what in terms of community and even like friendship from getting sober, like how has that shifted for you?
I mean, I honestly have like lost a lot of friends. I think I still have like friendships with certain people, but the friendships are different. Mm-hmm. Actually last week I got a text from this girl who I always used to like late night. I would like run into her somewhere and we would like party or we would like go to like an after party together. And she texted me last week, you know, and she's like, let's boogie and this and that. And I'm like, I don't stay up past 10 p.m. anymore. Like, I don't think you understand.
I sleep now.
I sleep now. So I think that there's definitely been some relationships that have like shifted and changed. I think ultimately, you know, I've lost a couple friendships. I don't know if that was necessarily because of sobriety or just because I like kind of had more of a clear head and I was like, oh, you're actually like not really a great person.
Yeah.
So that was definitely like, you know, eye-opening in some of my relationships. But for the most part, like all of my like friends have said like, you're a better friend now. You show up better now. People say I'm more fun now that I don't drink. And I think that, you know.
You are.
Great.
You are the funnest.
I love that. Fun. Yeah. I mean, I think there was this like identity crisis at first though, where I was like, who am I now? Like, I'm not like this fun party girl that's like, but you can still be that person without alcohol. So it's just, you know, I think there's just like this shift that has to happen. But yeah, there's been some falling outs and, you know, not dramatic falling outs, but just like a loss of connection.
Yeah. I had to sit with the part of myself that always wanted to be like the fun one and the yes girl. And like when I stopped drinking, this part of me that was like, honestly, kind of just wanting to be fucking boring.
Yeah.
And like not always the fun one. Like I had to get a little bit closer to her and be okay with like, and it's not like people were like disappointed. Like I wasn't like any less fun.
Yeah.
But that perception that I had of myself is like, oh, they're going to be disappointed. They're not going to like me anymore. I'm not going to belong because I'm not as fun anymore.
Yeah. It's like a hard shift. But I think now what I've noticed is like, and I never, like if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I was the person that people would come to when they were looking for advice on sobriety, like I would never be like, that's going to be me. But like that's, you know, I feel like now I've I'm pretty vocal about it. I speak about it. I'm not like, I'm an open book when it comes to like anything about this journey. And people, I've found a new sense of community through people like being like, I want to explore this and I want to see what this feels like. So now it feels really cool to be on that side of it where I'm like able to provide insight on sobriety from like a different angle.
Totally.
Whereas before I didn't even have a viewpoint from this angle.
Yeah, I think, there's the addiction piece, like without a doubt, and we can be addicted to anything. But then there's also, I feel like the identity shift that has to take place is like one of the biggest things that holds people back. Because you have to change. Like you're going to be a totally different person. And you probably will have to let go of some friendships. And I think people get stuck with continuing to drink or continuing to do whatever that's not in alignment for them because it requires you to actually become a different version of yourself.
And I think ultimately, there was like along the way, there was relationships where I would notice it was like aggressive in ways because of the amount of like drinking and drugs that were involved in certain relationships. And I think that
friendships or
like partnerships and friendships even, but more so partnerships. And it would be like really bad fights and just not good communication because, it'd be like a night of partying and then the next day I'm like upset about something that happened and whatever. So I think that
keeps you in that chaos loop.
It keeps you in that loop of like, very toxic, like energy. And I think I had some moments in those relationships where I was like, I know that drugs and alcohol are a part of this, why this isn't working. But it was like the last thing that I wanted to change. I was like, maybe I should like move across the country or maybe I should like cut my hair off or maybe I should like, it was like the last thing that I wanted to do to change. And I think once I got to the like ran through the list of everything, I was like, okay, this is like the only thing that I can now do to like shift something. But, when I decided to go sober, I wasn't in a relationship. I think that it was more that I wanted to do that change for me, which I think ultimately is any change you have to want, like it can never be for someone else. It has to be for you.
Yeah. Otherwise it won't be sustainable.
Exactly.
How has dating changed now that you're
dating has kind of I've put it on the back burner and I like every once in a while will like pull it onto the front burner and be like, let's just see. It's been different for sure. I think that, like it obviously says I just got back on the apps like literally on Sunday just to kind of like see what was out there. But, I've been single. Same thing, right? I've been single for I think 3 years now.
Yeah.
And I've been sober for almost 3 years now. So
you're one of the happiest single people I know.
I thrive
totally
in my independence.
Yeah.
Like truly. And that's why I think I've treaded lightly with dating because I'm like, I don't want someone to come mess up my stuff. Like I have my pillows in a really nice way. Like
I mean, you also talk shit about dating and the apps and stuff, but it's like, you're also not complaining because you love your life so much. There's a lot of women too who like just genuinely want to be with someone so badly, but they fucking hate dating.
Yeah. I think there's like a strength in, and I think sobriety did teach me a lot about accepting where I'm at in my life and just like kind of looking at things and being like, I actually like have a really good thing going on here. And I think once I started leaning into that, I was like, wow, what would it look like to like really just like love myself? And that's kind of been my journey and my mission for the past several years of just being like, being excited to like look in the mirror and being like, damn, that's like a badass bitch I'm looking at right now. And just like feeling really good about that.
And all of what you've accomplished too.
Yeah.
Like just, a few years ago, you were really wanting to fully live alone in the place that you have and that you are.
Yeah.
And, doing like becoming like more successful with real estate now, and you've had like however many closings the past couple of weeks.
It's been great.
Yeah.
I've been crushing it. I think that, and that is where, you know, I really now have like the space and the energy to like focus on my career, which is why dating has never really been a forefront of things.
Mhm.
And actually, when I got on the apps, I was like, I'm just going to date to remind myself why I'm single. And you know, I do have moments where I'm like, you know, you see like someone cute on there and you get like a little excited, but then like nothing comes of it. Or it's just, the apps feel a little bit monotonous to me. Like I'm just kind of like, what are we doing here?
Mhm.
Like either, especially when you see someone that's like 38 and they're like looking for something casual. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Who invited you?
Who invited you? And like, what? I mean, I guess whatever, to each their own.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, when you see just like people on there that are just,
I feel like it would just be way easier if people were even more honest and just like, I want to have sex.
Fully. I would like appreciate that more, because I would just probably then be like, this is not a good fit.
Mhm.
You know, because I think ultimately I do want a partner. I think it's a little scary of like what that looks like for me, just because again, like I'm like a hyper independent person.
Mhm.
And that's kind of become my identity a little bit of just like, I do life and I feel like really good on my own.
You're gonna need like an older man that can really just like
a daddy,
soften you, like a daddy, but like a little bit like a daddy, more somebody who's like really allows you to soften though.
Yeah,
it's gonna take a certain kind of person to be able to like pull you out of your independence a little bit and feel safe, like being led.
I have like, I truly have no idea in a relationship what it feels like to be like taken care of.
Totally.
Because I've never really had that. It's always like most of my relationships have been like pretty toxic.
Yeah.
And again, like very centered around drinking and partying and that kind of lifestyle with like a sprinkle of normal things in between. But I think ultimately it just felt very much like suffocating of like, okay, now this is the path I've chosen and I have to do this.
Right.
And if I don't like want to have fun, I'm like gonna be single.
Right.
So, you know.
What would, like in terms of being taken care of, like what would feel good for you if somebody showed up in that way?
Yeah.
Like what would allow you to feel really taken care of?
I think just like someone to talk about the day with. You know, I have people in my life that I do that with, but I think with a partner, it becomes a little bit more intimate in the things that you share. Yeah. So I think for me, there is a struggle with like being open and intimate in those ways of just like sharing about my life and my dreams and my goals. But I think ultimately, like realistically, I want someone to like have dinner made when I come home.
Totally.
And bring me flowers once a week and just like really just kind of like nurture me and like soften me a little bit.
Adore you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like give me forehead kisses.
Totally. Rub your feet.
Because although I love being single, I unfortunately cannot kiss my own forehead. And
that is one thing we have not figured out how to do.
We haven't figured that out yet.
I feel like a new mantra too for dating could be surprise me. Like somebody surprise me.
I love like spontaneity. I really in the past people that I've dated that I've felt really excited about have been really like take initiative and like want to plan a date and be like, I'm going to pick you up at this time, wear this. Like I really love that energy.
Totally.
And I think I kind of need someone like a little bit of more of a leader.
Totally.
Cause I cannot do another project. I really can't.
Yeah, you shouldn't. I feel like too, you obviously have a pretty easy job saying no and like letting go of people when you're dating, at least at the beginning. What are some of the things that have happened that you're just like immediately like, no, I'm done?
Immediate no's. I mean, honestly, it's been like a long time, but I'm a pretty like quick judge of character. And I think I really have gotten much better at trusting my gut and just like knowing. I've been in some like dating situations where like guys are really handsy and clingy and this and that and like in the beginning and I'm like
on a first date?
Yeah, like I remember I went on this date one time and this guy was just like all over me, like kept trying to like touch my lip. And I was just like, we're not there yet.
Did
like
you say that to him?
No, I just left. I was just like, I forgot I have something.
Did you tell him you were leaving though? Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
like, I actually have to go. Like it made me. But this was back when I was more like a drinker and like dates, like kind of, I think, kind of going back to the sobriety and dating, I think there's this level of comfort that you feel from having a drink, right, on a date. Because you're like, okay, this is going to like loosen me up a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to feel a little more comfortable. So that's definitely been a shift where I'm like, exactly. And I'm like, okay, wait, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And I probably in that point in my life, like gave off the energy that was
totally
cool.
Yeah.
When it didn't necessarily feel great. But I think, there's just there's been like some interesting situations for sure along the way. But, I'm dating sober. I haven't like done a whole lot of it. I did like have a guy that I liked a couple years ago and it was like a really fun, nice situation. But I think ultimately we had like different beliefs in life, but that felt like very like a mature situation. And so, I just try to look at those experiences as like, okay, I'm like doing a little bit better at picking these people than I did before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having different beliefs in life, what did you learn from that as far as what you want to be upfront with, like from the beginning with people, or what you need to know from them even? Because I think it's really important because sometimes people don't share those things and then they're like a few months in, it's like, well, this obviously isn't gonna work out.
I mean, I think definitely like religious beliefs is an important thing to talk about
especially
up front.
If you're gonna have kids.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna have kids. I think it's important, especially at this stage of my life, to talk about kids, although I'm a little unclear about that, but I think also I haven't like met someone where I've been like, hell yeah, let's like make something that's half me, half you.
Yeah. No,
so I've never felt that. So I don't, know, but I do think that that's an important conversation. It feels like much more adult now. I think that telling people that I'm sober right away feels not right away, but within the first like date for sure.
Do you list it on your profile?
Sober it says that I don't drink. But it's so funny the amount of people where I'm like, you didn't even read my profile because they're like, want to grab a drink? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, do you read? Yeah. Or so.
It's so funny.
It's definitely been interesting, like treading the waters of dating sober. But I think ultimately, like I go into it with a little bit more of like, I'm going to actually like feel this out and lean into the vibes a little bit, and just like recognizing how like internally I feel like with someone. But I do think that I'm to the point now where like it takes me a couple times of seeing someone, getting to know someone to actually be like, all right, like I see something here. Whereas before I'd like have a drink and then we'd like make out and it'd be like, oh God, I don't like you at all.
Yeah, totally.
And then it's awkward. So it's definitely a more, I think, thoughtful approach now.
Much more intentional.
But still like just like leaning into my gut a little bit more. But I think before my gut like fully wasn't working. Like I don't think it works.
You're just numbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would your perfect date be?
Ooh. I really love like an activity.
We're just putting this out into the world and we're going to find the dude.
Yeah, come find me. I really love an activity. Like I love to do something, even if it's just like like walking to a park and sitting in a park, just like something
that's cute.
Something cute and different, like going up to Gold Hill, seeing music, going for a drive, like going to the tea house, walking by the creek, just like more something where, nature is involved. I really like that.
Nature, movement, and like a little bit of cuteness.
Yeah. I was doing this thing for a while though, where I would invite guys to come take my Mecca class for a first date because I wanted to see if they could like keep up.
Yeah.
Cause I want a strong man.
And your class is always one of the hardest ones. Every time I take your class, I'm like, God,
it's
damn it.
not easy. So honestly, if a guy can
None of them are easy, but yours are really hard. That's why I haven't been back to your cardio and strength class. I literally almost laughed and threw up.
So I think it was last summer. I invited this guy. I was like, come take a mecha class with me. So we took a mecha class. First of all, he said he was 5'11" on his profile, and he showed up and he was shorter than me. So I was like, we're in a room full of mirrors. I don't know how you really can't. You can't hide here.
And now we have witnesses.
That was like an interesting situation where I was like, okay, well, first of all, you're a liar. So like,
how did he do?
He kept up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like the lying piece of it like threw me off. But then later I saw
Did he come back?
I saw his profile again later, and he had changed it to 5'8".
Oh, great.
So I don't.
Maybe he made a whoopsie.
I don't think so. I would like to believe that. Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But
did he come back again?
He did go back for one other class. I think he like bought a 3-pack. I'm like just like doing sales for Mecca and dating. I think he bought a 3-pack and he like came back and took a couple more classes. And we ended up like, we had a nice conversation, but like obviously there was no like spark there for me. Mm-hmm. But I liked to throw him in that situation, but it's definitely.
Have you done that with anyone else?
No, but I want to.
You should.
I actually one time on a first date had a guy come take my class, which was like.
For the first date? What did you guys do after?
We like went, what did we do after?
Drink protein?
Oh, we like went for a walk. we did creatine and protein. I think we just like went for a walk after.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was cute. And he like did well, but it was, then
does it make you nervous?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I love being mic'd up.
Yeah. I love that for you.
Yeah.
How has fitness and like being an instructor, teaching yoga, how has all of that played a role in community for you?
I mean, it's become just like such a massive part of like my happiness. Mm-hmm. I think one thing I've like learned about myself through all of this, and even like I said before, like drinking for me, like being in that community of like these people party and I'm part of this community, like being a part of a community is like such a huge part of my happiness. And like actually there's like all these studies on happiness and like what like the people that have lived the longest and lived happiest lives, like I think there's like decades and decades long studies, and it's like all of it comes back to like community and the people you have in your life.
It's your belonging.
And it's always been such a driving force for me. So, being a part of the Mecca community has been like just amazing. Like those people are absolute savages, and I love it. And, I think sometimes I look at it and I'm like, I traded one addiction for another. Like I traded alcohol for like, now I am, obsessed with like fitness and like.
A little bit more healthy.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
So I'm happy. I'm happy that that's my new drug of choice.
How do you notice when you're in like a cycle of being addicted to it versus just choosing it from a healthy place?
I think it comes down to like this feeling of, I do it not because I want to have like a perfect body or because it's like all for my mental health. Like all of it is for my mental health, because like going and thrashing in a cardio class for 50 minutes, like so you have no time to think about anything else going on like in your life. Like the only thing you can think about is surviving.
And trying not to throw up.
So I do, I think that the community both there and, I loved my yoga pod community. I'm not teaching there anymore, but like I still have relationships with those people. And it's just become such a huge part of who I am. And like, honestly, if being a full-time fitness instructor, like could afford me a life in Boulder, that's what I would do, hands down.
Totally.
And I think with real estate, I've also found that, again, it's about like community. It's about like being close with people through like a really stressful, sometimes like moment in your life. And totally. I think you know, everything comes back to community. And I think finding your why behind the things in your life, like what drives you, what gets you out of bed, like finding that why is so important. And it took me a really long time to actually put those pieces together. I was like, oh, so I like.
Is yours community?
100%. Yeah.
Well, that makes your jobs easy.
Yeah. And it makes them like feel very fulfilling at the same
and
time.
connected.
Yeah.
Totally. Let's transition to real estate. How is that going? What do you love about buying, selling houses in Boulder?
Yeah.
And what feels a little bit sticky or challenging?
I mean, the career in and of itself isn't one of those careers where you know, have like a lot of training. Like you study for this exam, you take this exam, and then you're kind of like, figure it out. What you learn in that exam teaches you nothing about what you're doing in a transaction.
Yeah.
It teaches you nothing about relating to people, about negotiating, like really none of that. So all of those pieces I kind of had to learn on my own. And it's honestly been kind of like a crazy ride because you really want to find someone that's going to kind of mentor you and guide you and teach you. And I think from the get-go, I found someone that, you know, was willing to help me, but didn't provide quite the amount of support that I wanted. And I have had really helpful people along the way, but I think it's one of those things where you have to learn it by doing it.
Totally.
And like being in those situations where you're like, I have to actually like figure out all these things about septic tanks right now. And like, I didn't, you know, like, so every single transaction has been like different. And, you know, I think ultimately it's taught me that I'm like very like willing to like do the work, which I think, you know, it takes a lot of time and energy and just like building up your business to like be successful in this career. I've been doing it for 5 years now.
Sold one of my houses. We purchased what? 2 houses through you?
2?
Yeah.
Wait.
3.
3.
And sold 1.
And sold 1. It's been like a full, every single transaction has been a learning experience. And I'm like, I love that. I think I've also learned that about myself, is that like when I'm constantly in this state of like learning, I really feel happy. And I think this career has like challenged me, but it's also, you know, lends into that community piece of like what drives me and what makes me happy. But it's been a nice mixture of all the things that kind of like make me come alive. But it's hard. Like it's really,
it's all on you.
Yeah. And like, you know, everybody knows someone who's in real estate. Everybody knows probably like 10 people that are in real estate. So then it's like, you know, finding your people and the people that trust you and that you trust too. You know, I think it goes both ways in any of these situations, but it's definitely been like a full journey. And there's been years where I'm like, I hate this, I'm quitting. And then there's been years where I'm like, this is so amazing. I feel so fulfilled. So it's a roller coaster like any other career, but it's a lot of like, you have to have this get up and figure it out attitude. Otherwise it's not gonna pan out.
Yeah. I feel like especially here because it's so competitive.
Yeah.
What are a few things you would advise, like if someone was about to buy or sell a home and they're about to choose a realtor, what are a couple of things you would share with them around being mindful of when choosing someone?
Well, first of all, choose me.
Step 1.
Step 1.
2, you're done.
Call me. I think, again, it goes back to this like trust piece. You know, I think there's definitely a strength in choosing someone who's been in the business for a longer period of time. But I think there's also, you know, me personally, because I'm in a newer, like a younger phase in this career, I think that I'm just like really hungry to like make my people happy and to work hard for them. But I think ultimately it just comes down to like having a good connection with someone, feeling, you know, like safe with someone, which I think is hard
Mm-hmm.
to kind of like gauge that off the bat. But I think you just really want to take the time and like see what your options are, because there might be someone that, yes, has been in the business for a long time, but then there could be someone who's, greener and that it really wants to bend over backwards to make things happen. But I think, ultimately it just comes down to like having a good connection, and someone that's had some success, obviously.
Totally.
But yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What, and you're closing today. You're closing on a house
I have
today.
a closing today.
Yay.
Yay.
And then do you have any other
Well, we have
houses?
the closing on your house.
Oh yeah, when's that?
Next week. You're like, when's that happening?
I'll be there.
I mean, I will say that transaction has been so easy. There's some that are like very needy and hands-on. Like the one I'm closing on today has been like
Intense.
all consuming.
Yeah.
And there's some that are like that. And then there's some that are a little bit, easier.
Mhm.
But you just kind of,
Roll with it.
even when I have days where I'm like on the phone nonstop, I like kind of love it. Like, like I'm just kind of like, I'm like busy and I'm doing this and like people want to talk to me and like are asking me questions and I'm figuring it out. So it's
Everyone loves me and I'm so busy.
and I'm so popular. And obviously it's like electricians and HVAC people and like all those things. But I
All these
do think,
handymen.
there's like this pride that comes from making something happen and figuring it out
Putting
and
in the
like,
work.
just like being a problem solver.
Yeah.
And I think that that's definitely an asset as well with someone.
Are you doing staging now? Are you going to be?
I am really wanting to start a staging company. I've been gathering some beta because, some people are like,
The house looked great. I saw it for the first time.
I didn't stage that.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Well,
I wanted to,
you
but I
done
did
it better, but it looked good.
I would have definitely
Obviously.
done it a little better.
Whoever did it, you did good too,
You did
but
great.
Adria would have done better.
I think so. I've just kind of noticed this little like pocket in the market where like there's really high-end stagers and then there's kind of more of like the budget stagers. And I kind of want to like wedge myself into that middle category and just kind of like elevated
I feel like that would be
chic.
so fun.
And that's another thing. Like I am like I have this creative kind of urge that lives in me always.
Well, yeah, you have Pisces in your 10th house.
That I do.
Mhm.
And recently I've been like, for my creative projects, like I just bedazzle the stopwatch for coaching.
Yeah.
And I make vision boards, or I like love to find like a craft and just like have something. So I feel like this would really just like mesh together some things.
If you start, one of my favorite things is to literally just go to Home Goods with an iced coffee and just walk around.
I make every weekend, I swear to you, I have like the rounds that I make. I go to Home Goods. I go to World Market.
Oh yeah. World Market is great too.
Love.
Yeah.
Love. Actually, you know how they do the Easter egg hunts there?
No, I
and
don't.
like the during the Christmas time, they'll do like find the golden nutcracker and you can like win $100 off. Anyways, I found the golden egg a couple weeks ago and it was like a really exciting day for me. I was like, this is my life now. I'm excited to go to. I was like, I have like an hour to kill. I'm going to go to World Market. And I just walked around. And they give you a little clue of where it is at the front of the store. Scavenger hunt.
That's super cute.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you end up doing that, I would love to go on little trips to these places.
No, I think I'm still in this. I've been collecting a lot of things. I actually have a garage like full of things right now.
So fun.
So I've been gathering some things.
Garage sale season. There's going to be like so much out there.
Yeah. And in the past year, I've like redone my office. I've redone my bedroom. And, just to kind of align more with where I'm at, because I was like, this is like a little wookish right now. Like I need like a little bit of a makeover.
The full out of wook transformation.
Let's take ourselves seriously.
Yeah.
So I did
take like maybe like one fish poster down.
Exactly. There is no more fish posters. They're in my closet now, but I still love fish.
Yeah.
I think I just like found myself like very excited in those like moments where it was just like one weekend I was like, I'm going to paint my office. I'm going to get a new, and I did the whole thing in a weekend, which was, you know, a project, but I'm now like feeling like it would be really fun. But from the beta that I've gathered, like it's hard work.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm not afraid of hard work. So
yeah. Would you maybe have to have like a team?
I would need some muscle men, although I am a muscle mommy, but I would definitely need, you know, there's like logistical pieces for
that
sure.
That could be part of dating. No, you could, if like the dating piece doesn't work, you could vet them as being part of the
Can you carry a desk?
So like, this isn't going to work, but like, how strong are you?
But like, can you bench more than me?
I have another option for you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So we'll wrap up. I would love for you to share if anyone, any like words of wisdom you have for anyone who's like thinking about quitting alcohol, getting sober, or moving through like a hard transition of becoming or like changing who they are, maybe leaving behind some relationships. What would you have loved to hear when you were moving through that? What would have been a good reminder?
I think just knowing that you are never alone. There's always someone you can talk to, but I think, you know, ultimately you'll know when the time is right.
Yeah.
Like it's like a light switch. Like if you're like curious about it, just wait until that light switch goes off, because, you know, I flirted with the idea for so long and I was like, I'm going to be sober. I'm going to be sober. But then I would like drink every weekend or like drink once a week. I think you'll know when the time is right.
Yeah.
But there's always resources. There's people to talk to. People can talk to me. They can reach out to me. I'm always happy to like share my experience, but it's not easy. And if it was easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would do it. So there's moments where it's going to feel scary. It's going to feel hard. You have to like look at the pieces of yourself that you don't probably want to look at, but that's where growth happens. That's where change happens. And that's what ultimately is going to make you see if it's, you know, the right fit. But, you know, it's not for everyone. But I do think that we would have a lot more people in this world that would show up in a
fully show up
if there was less of it.
Totally.
But no judgment.
I love that. Yeah. So would you like to plug any social media or websites for people to be able to find you? How can they hang out with you? How can they buy a house? How can they sell a house?
Well, I am on Instagram.
Where can they take your class?
Come to Mecca. I teach a lot of classes at Mecca. I teach the Legree class. I teach the cardio and strength. I also teach a lifting format. So come take class at Mecca. And if you have any questions about real estate or want to buy or sell a house, you can reach out to me at Adria Such or at Such an Agent.
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Yeah.